Hey guys, welcome to Rod's World, and today I'm going to do a movie review on Jeepers Creepers 3. There are movie spoilers here, so if you guys do want to watch Jeepers Creepers 3, do not watch the rest of this vlog. This movie was actually supposed to be filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia, right where I live, where I work in film, and I'm actually very happy on a couple different reasons why I got kicked out of Vancouver. Number one, the director is a pedophile. And the second reason why I'm happy it was not shot here is because it sucked. It was awful. Now, this is coming from somebody who actually really liked Jeepers Creepers 1, the first one. It was amazing, okay? The second one with the bus was even better. They were amazing movies, but then you got this third one, and it was just trash. Now, the thing is I actually love cheesy horror movies, right? Now, if you make a horror movie and it's supposed to be serious and it turns out really cheesy, I will still enjoy it. But when it's bad, it's bad. Like, it is beyond that. The first two Jeepers Creepers, it's about this guy who goes around in the dark and he kind of eats people, right? He eats people and then that whatever he eats becomes part of him. Now, the third movie, 90%, if not more, of this movie was shot in the daytime. So I was so confused because it wasn't even scary. They almost got him to talk. They show him like a human being. Don't get me wrong, there are some movies where I love the fact that the monster itself has human qualities. But the fact that you see this guy 90% in the daytime. At night, he's badass. But in the daytime, he's like, oh, he's not really scary looking. And it was just awful. The acting was horrible. The directing was horrible. It was just garbage. And the thing is, I love cheesy horror movies. I'm going to repeat that many times. I chose to work in the film industry to direct cheesy horror movies. That's my jam. This movie was beyond cheesy. It wasn't even good cheesy. Like, I'm talking about, like, I love extreme cheesy movies like Snow Shark and Hell Comes to Frogtown. But this movie was beyond cheesy. It wasn't even good cheesy. It was awful. At night, in the first two movies, he's badass. But in the third one, it was just, you see his makeup in the daytime, it's whatever. It's like, okay, like, And he kind of moves around comically. Like, it wasn't even scary. Like, in the other ones, he's, like, kind of creepy. But this one, he's like, huh? Oh! Like, it's really kind of stupid. And also, one of my other biggest annoyances about the third Jeepers Creepers is the fact that the car is pretty much alive. The car becomes a character. Now, the car in the first two was amazing. Like, the car was driving people away. But obviously, he was driving it. Okay? This one, the car's a character. And at one point in this movie, the car was driving itself. Like, he was standing on top of it, and the car was driving itself. So they're all running away from Herbie. You know, Attack of the Killer Herbie. Yeah. There was actually, like, maybe two good things that actually happened in this movie that were really bad jokes. Right? Like, they're walking up to the truck, and they're like, oh my god, this truck belongs to the killer. Right? And they're like, oh my god. And then the last guy goes, Jeepers Creepers. You know, like they're 1950s. And he's being serious. And I'm like, oh my god. You know, this isn't Scooby-Doo. Oh, gee williker, Shaggy. And I was thinking, maybe they shot like 90% of the movie in the daytime because they didn't have any money. They did not have a budget for the lights. Because the budget got cut. Right? See, that would make sense. And they grossed $2.2 million in the box office. Now, I was actually going to go see this in the theaters, but then all this stuff happened with the director, and I'm like, I don't really want to support him, so I waited till it was on TV for free. That way I'm not giving him any more money, and I also really wanted to see the movie. And I know there's a lot of really bad people that work in film. I like a lot of their movies. So it's not based on who the person is, it's just what the product is. Now, there's a lot of people that actually go into making a movie. So it's not just one person. And Hollywood's been, like, kind of dirty for a long time. So it's not like it's a new thing where it's like, oh my god, this person does this, I'm never going to watch their movies. No, if you like people's movies, you don't have to like them. Like, if somebody makes a product and it's great for you, you don't have to not like it because you don't like who the person is. No, that logic just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But you cannot blame an entire movie based on one person. You know? So I figured I'd wait until it was on TV, and I waited, and then I watched it, and it was horrible. And then the ending! The ending made no sense! Now, I love open-ending endings. I love it. But just when all the action just started happening, it ended. It was so random. I was like, okay, everything's starting. I'm like, okay, this is going to be awesome. And no. The movie was just awful. The thing is we watched Jeepers Creepers 1, 2, and 3 all in a row. Right? So it was an awesome build-up. And it was just awful. It was so funny. So one of the major problems in the movie was the fact that the lady, she had a horse, and the horse was starving, right? They were going broke. The horse was starving. She couldn't afford any food for the horse. Her grandmother was even saying to sell the horse, right? And the thing is they show the barn, and outside the barn is a huge grass field. But apparently the horse cannot eat the grass from the grass field. The horse can only eat the hay that actually a guy who had a crush on her provided. And another really big thing about the movie that really bugged me is the fact that everybody was driving an old car, right? And they all wore like old clothes to make you kind of think that was an older movie, right? And they even ended it to be like a prequel of the second one, because all of a sudden he gets on a bus. But the thing is the creature comes out every 24 years, okay? So the guy goes onto a bus, making it seem like he's going onto the school bus for the second one. But they just had the monster and it hasn't been 24 years yet, or 23 years yet. It makes no sense. And everybody's driving around these old cars and dressed in old-fashioned stuff, but everybody has old cell phones. Now, when I say old-fashioned cars, I mean like from like the 40s, okay? They're dressed for 40s, maybe 50s. I can't really tell. I can't really remember at this exact point. And everybody's rocking a cell phone, like the cell phones that came out before the flip phones, like those old kind of bigger Nokia kind of ones. But yet it's supposed to be back in the... But they have... I'm so confused by this whole thing. Another big annoyance that I had with this movie is they didn't even have the songs Jeepers Creepers going on. I know they didn't have it in the second one, but I really kind of enjoyed that. And the monster was whistling, but he was whistling a different song. He so should have been whistling, Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get those peepers? But the third one, like, the writing was even worse than a lot of B movies out there. Like, worse than a lot of C movies. Like, Snow Shark was a better movie. I love, and Land Shark. Those were great movies. But Jeepers Creepers 3? Not so much. The director, Victor, actually directed and wrote Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, as well as the third one. And he even said the third one's going to be the scariest one out of all of them. Oh, how wrong was he? Because it was just awful. Like, it was beyond awful. Like, I wanted my time back. And the director, Victor, was actually convicted of sexual assault with a child in 1988. So Vancouver, the city of Vancouver got together and we were like, no, we don't want this movie filmed here. And I am actually very thankful that we did not let that movie, that garbage of a movie, get filmed here. I've actually seen high school projects with better CGI. It was just, you can clearly see what was green screen. You can clearly see, oh, that's fake. My family and I we were reading the names in the credits, and we were like, how awful of a punishment would that be to have your name on that credit list? As I said, I work on some really bad movies, but this was beyond awful, right? Like, I would be so embarrassed to have my name attached to that movie that I would tell them not to put my name on that credit list. Like, it was just... It was awful. It was like watching Thanksgiving 3. I don't know if you guys have seen Thanksgiving 3, but it was just as bad as Thanksgiving 3. Thanksgiving 1, good movie. Thanksgiving 3 was just as bad as this one. And half of the movie was about this lady who kept on digging at this random tree. She finally found what was in the tree, and it was this hand, right? And the hand can fly on its own. And was able to, like, grab her by the hand and just lift her up. It was like idle hands. It literally lifted her up in the air. And then, apparently, this hand got stuck in a vase. It went into a vase, and apparently it couldn't get out of a vase, and the cops flipped it upside down, and there was this random hand. So I was kind of hoping, I'm like, okay, well, maybe the hand's going to take part of another person, and then there's going to be 2 of these creepers. Right? That would be cool. That would be a cool movie. But no. Of course it wasn't. It was just this random hand, and somehow she got it back, and then she buried it. And the costumes in this movie, like, the cops were hilarious because they didn't even have, like, proper badges or anything like that. They were just kind of... They had these weird t-shirts that they all bought on special, and it had, like, it was just... I can't even explain it. It was awful. It was beyond awful. It was just awful. I mean, it was just garbage. What did you think, Emma?
I love horror movies, and I hated it. It was boring. I actually went on my iPad because it was so boring.
That's how bad of a movie it was. It was just awful. Was there anybody actually out there who enjoyed this movie? If so, please tell me in the comments below. And if you didn't like the movie, please type in the comments below about what you hated most about the movie. And if you agree with my points, don't forget also to hit that like button and also subscribe. Camera test. Camera test. Camera is testing. Testing my patience.